Well, travel is getting even more stressful. It's not just the mad dash to get to the airport these days.
Yeah, for sure. And more airline passengers are finding ways to cheat their way onto planes faster. Christopher Elliott is a travel columnist and founder of the Elliott Report, saying it's creating a big problem. First of all, good morning to you, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. How are you doing?
Great. So why I don't understand this. What is the point of trying to board early? We are all on the same plane.
It's
We're leaving at the exact same time, and you already have a seat. So what are you actually really getting to faster?
You're absolutely correct. We are all on the same plane, but everyone for some reason wants to get on the plane first, and it's happening more now. And the reason is there's a lot of anxiety over the overhead bins. Will there be enough room for my luggage? Will there be enough room under my seat for my luggage even? And also, it's a psychological thing. People want to get in their seat first, and they want to get on their way. And so people are pushing their way ahead, cheating a little bit to get on the plane first.
Okay, so how are they pulling this off? What are they doing to get on board early?
Well, there's a couple of ways. I mean, I was just on a flight from Montevideo to Sao Paulo, Brazil, and while we were waiting, someone just cut in line ahead of us. So people are seeing more of that, but we're also seeing something called disability pretenders, and that's where people say they have a disability. One passenger I talked to travels with a splint, and he puts it on before he gets on the flight, or before he boards, and then they let him into the first group. So people are doing all kinds of crazy and maybe not entirely legal things to get on the plane.
So I know, for example, Southwest Airlines, depending on where you're at in the boarding process, you get to pick your seat earlier. You mentioned Southwest Airlines in your article, and actually a guy who was cheating the system. How is he doing that?
Well, so Southwest Airlines has something called Early Bird, where you pay extra to get into that A group. And if you don't pay for that, usually you get into the B or the C group. And what people will do is they'll be in a family, and one person will pay for the A group and then reserve the seats for everyone else instead of everyone paying for it. So that's kind of considered cheating.
Okay, so you got to tell us so that people can more clearly see the whole picture. Why is it a problem for everyone to try to get on at the same time? What problems is it conjuring up?
Well, at a time like now, where most flights are really operating full, and by the way, this is probably going to be the busiest year for air travel in the history of aviation. That's what it's looking like. So all flights are full. And what happens when you decide to cheat, so when you decide to cut ahead, or when you're in group 3 and you decide to board with the group 2s, is that creates a disruption. It slows down the process. The flight doesn't leave on time, and then everyone is late.
So who actually can board early? I mean, we often hear a list of people they reference, you know, when you're right there at the gate. Who exactly is that?
It's such a long list. I keep forgetting who all is on it, but it's basically people with disabilities, families with young children, elites, and then people who also have those special gold-plated cards, and members of the military and first responders. I'm probably leaving a few out there, but there's a lot of people who can get on the plane first.
Certainly elderly people or someone with a disability as well, because it's hard for them to get on, and we need to open the way and say, go for it. For anybody who gets stressed about it, I would say you're going to be on that plane for quite a while. Enjoy being off of it as long as you can, and maybe that'll ease your concerns about it. And you know what? If there's not room in that overhead bin, they will check it for you for free, so no worries, right? Thanks, Christopher.